Hello, dreamers. I'm going to talk about characters I think are going to for sure get added to Disney Dreamlight Valley, characters that I think maybe will be added, and characters that I think won't be added. If this video helps you, please like it and don't subscribe to me. All right, we're going to go franchise by franchise here. I'm going to start with The Lion King. I think Timon and Pumbaa are for sure going to be in it. I think this one's obvious because they are in the trailer. That'll also mean that Simba will for sure be in the game. I also think there's a very good chance of Nala being in the game, considering that each character has had their love interest in the game as well. We also know for sure that Scar is going to be in the game. We've seen trailers with him in it. I also am going to put myself on the limb here and say Mufasa is going to be in this game simply because I know there is a movie of him coming out soon. It might not be right away that he's added, but I can see him being added later in the future. Now for maybes, I think maybe Rafiki will be in the game. I think it's a small chance that he could be in the game, but if there's anybody else that's going to be in it, like there seems to be a lot of Lion King characters already. It's doubtful, but he might be in there. Another character that might be in the game based on the new Mufasa movie is Simba's mother, Saribi. I'm not sure if I said that name properly, but there's a good chance that she can be in the game if Mufasa's in the game. Characters I think are not likely or pretty much not going to be in the game is Zazu. I don't think he'll be in the game, or any of the hyenas. Okay, so let's move on to Toy Story now. So we already know from trailers that Buzz and Woody are for sure going to be in the game. Now another character that I think will be in the game is Little Bo Peep. I think she's for sure going to be in the game to complement Woody. Another character I think will be in the game is Zurg. I think there needs to be a bad guy from Toy Story, so I think there's a good chance Zurg is going to be in the game. Now a character I think that may be in the game is Jessie. I can see her being in there as kind of a love interest for Buzz, but I'm not sure if that one's super likely. Characters that probably will not be in this game are Forky, the aliens, I don't see them being in the game, Andy, Rex, Ham, Mr. Potato Head, Stinky Pete, Sid. I don't see any of those characters being in the game. All right, so now let's talk about Mickey and Friends. All right, we already know there's a category called Mickey and Friends in the collectible section, so we know we're going to be seeing more of them, though I don't think we're going to be seeing that much. I think Daisy Duck is going to for sure be in the game. I think that's a given. She's on the end of Donald's boat. I also think Pete is likely to be in the game. He has the same body structure as Maui. So I think there's a good chance that they're going to make him just based on that reason. For maybes, I think Clarabelle might be in it, but that one is a long shot. All right, let's move on to Tangled. So Rapunzel, I know for sure will be in the game. We've seen her house in trailers. It's in the main picture. You can see her house. She's going to be in the game. On top of that, I think Flynn Rider will for sure be in the game. She'll need a love interest. I think it's very likely that he's going to be in the game. After that, I think nobody else will be in the game. I don't see any other character. None of the bad guys, the king and queen, I don't think is likely at all. All right, let's move on to Frozen. Now for Frozen, we already seen shots of Olaf. He is going to be in the game. As a maybe, I can see Hans being in the game. Now, not likely. I just don't see anybody else being in the game. I don't see Oaken, the traitor. I don't see the trolls. I just don't think anybody else is going to be in the game. All right, let's move on to Little Mermaid. So Little Mermaid, I can see maybe King Triton being in the game. All right, and then not likely. I really don't think that Sebastian or Flounder are going to be in the game. All right, now let's talk about Ratatouille. Since Ratatouille's in the game, I was thinking about, well, who else will they put on in it? I don't see it being very likely that anybody else is in the game. I think Ratatouille is going to be the only one from his franchise in this game. All right, now for Moana. Moana, I also don't see anyone else being in the game. I don't think any other characters are iconic enough for them to be in the game. Only thing I can see is like maybe the chicken as a pet or something like that. I don't see any characters that are going to be giving you quests or anything like that added to the game. All right, so let's talk about Wally. Now, we already seen in pictures and promotional stuff that Eve will be in the game. So that's going to be a given. Now, this is going to be a crazy one, but I have a feeling that Otto, the wheel from the ship, might be in the game. I have a strange suspicion that eventually there's going to be too many characters in this game, and they're going to have to use some stationary characters that give quests. And I think Otto, the wheel, would be a very likely candidate for Wally. And after that, I don't think anybody else will be in the game. All right, let's talk about Sword in the Stone. Since Merlin is in the game, I was looking at other characters that could possibly be in the game, and honestly, I think these are all just maybes. I think maybe Arthur will be in the game. I don't think it's going to be something that they're going to have to spend time in, and I'm not sure if they're going to have time compared to all these other characters that they're planning to put in. I think it's not likely, but if we need a protagonist for Sword in the Stone, Madame Mim is the only candidate that I can find for that. I doubt she's going to be in the game. All right, let's talk about Beauty and the Beast. We've seen plenty of clips of Belle in the game. She is in the screenshot in the very beginning of the game. I've seen her reading a book in one of the clips. I've seen the Beast's house in one of the clips. So we know Belle and the Beast are going to be in the game. I'm also very confident that Gaston is going to be in the game. I see his house in the opening trailer and in the opening screen of the game. So he's going to be in it, I guarantee it. For maybes on Beauty and the Beast, I think LeFou is a maybe. Lemire, Cogsworth, and maybe the wardrobe, because there's so much designing and wearing clothes in this game. I can see the wardrobe being thrown in there as a stationary character. Not likely. I think Mrs. Potts, Chip, or Maurice, I think is very unlikely. All right, for Cinderella. So Cinderella, I know for sure is going to be in the game. We've seen promotional footage of her in the game. There's also Prince Charming. I think he's going to be in the game just because Cinderella's in the game. Now for the fairy godmother, I'm fairly certain she's going to be in the game. I believe she lives in the pumpkin in the Forgotten Lands. Not likely to be in the game is Lady Tremaine and the two sisters that abuse Cinderella. All right, so let's move on to Wreck-It Ralph. I think Vanellope is going to be in the game. She's already in the promotional content, so we know for sure she's going to be in the game. Also, Ralph is for sure going to be in the game. We've seen promotional footage of him as well. I also think there's a very, very good chance Fix-It Felix is going to be in the game. Not likely to be in the game is King Candy, Sour Bill, or really anybody else. All right, let's talk about Monsters, Inc. I think for sure Sully's going to be in the game. We've seen promotional footage of him. We haven't seen anything of Mike Wazowski, but I would be so upset if he wasn't in the game. He's a shoo-in for this game. I think it's obvious he's going to be in this game. Randall might also be in this game as the protagonist. I can see that happening. Randall is a good character. He should be easy to put in this game. He would fit in with the aesthetic of the game, so I think that's pretty likely that he'll be here. And no one else is going to be in this game. Not the kid, no one of the other monsters. I really think that's going to be it. All right, let's talk about Lilo and Stitch. I can see Stitch obviously being in the game. He's in the promotional content, so I think it's obvious he's going to be in the game. And then I think Lilo is also going to be in the game. Her name is in the title. Now, maybe Nani will be in the game. It's going to be, I'm not like 100% sure. I think it's just a maybe. All right, let's talk about The Incredibles. I think Elastigirl is likely to be in the game. I also think Mr. Incredible is likely to be in the game, as well as Syndrome, as they probably need a bad guy to bounce off of story-wise. Now, maybe we might see Jack, Dash, and Invisigirl. Not likely. I think Frozone is not likely to be in this game, or anyone else. Okay, for Coco, I can see Miguel being in the game and Hector, as well as De La Cruz. I can see them, all three of them being in this game. I also think there's a small chance Mama Coco could be in this game. She's a good character, and she can be one of those stationary characters in a house or something like that. No one else is going to be in this game. All right, so let's talk about cars. You can get some car items in this game. I'm going to go out on the limb here, and I'm going to say there's not going to be a single Cars character in this game. I think that it's just going to not mesh with the style. There's too many other characters to create. They're not going to have time. Let's talk about Up. I think this is going to be the same with Up as it is with Cars. I really believe they're not going to have time. I don't think it's likely there's going to be a sequel to Up. I don't think there's going to be promotion of Up. So I just think that there's going to be some items from the show in the game, but no characters. All right, let's talk about Peter Pan. So Peter is for sure going to be in the game. I think it's obvious based on that skull that's in Dazzle Beach. I think that's clearly a Peter Pan house for somebody, probably Captain Hook, which I think for sure is also going to be in the game. I think that Wendy is going to be in the game, just so for somebody, Peter, there has to be love interest for most of the characters, so I think Peter and Wendy are for sure going to be in the game. Now, maybe you might see Michael or Dr. John, and I think maybe Smee. I can see a good chance of Smee being in the game, but not likely is Rufio or any of the Lost Boys. All right, let's talk about Aladdin. So there's no evidence of Aladdin being in the game, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they're going to try and put Aladdin in this game. It only makes sense. It's a popular franchise, and I've been hearing that they are thinking of making a live action Aladdin 2. So if that's the case, that would make it even more likely that Aladdin will be in this game, which will also mean that Jasmine will be in this game. And I think for sure Jafar will be in this game. Now for maybes, I can see maybe the genie being in the game. I think Abu is maybe going to be in the game. Iago and the Sultan. Not likely will be Razul. All right, let's talk about Mulan. Mulan will probably be in this game. Okay, I imagine they're going to try and get all the Disney princesses in here. So Mulan is one of those. I think Mulan's in the game. Li Shang might be in the game as the love interest. And I think Mushu might be in the game. There is a recipe for Mushu in the game already. I think Shan Yu could also be in the game just to provide a bad guy for Mulan to bounce the story off of. And after that, no one else. I think no one else is going to be in the game. All right, so let's talk about Emperor's New Groove. I'd be super stoked if any of these characters made it in. I think it's actually likely that this character is in the game just because it's been a long time since Emperor's New Groove has come out. I can see them remaking it or doing something else with it. There's a recipe for Kronk in the game already right now. So I'm going to guess that Kronk is in the game. And if Kronk is in the game, I'm also going to guess Couscous is in the game. All right. Along with Yzma. All right. Those three is the biggest possibilities. Maybe Pacha and no one else. None of the kids, none of the wife, nothing. All right. So I'm going to go on a long shot here and say Atlantis could be in this game. Only because if you look, there's an ancient civilization category in the collections. So I can't think of any other Disney property that's kind of ancient. So I'm going to say Atlantis might be it. So that means Milo, Thatch might be in the game, and Princess Kidda might be in the game. But I don't think anybody else will be. All right, let's talk about Big Hero 6. I think this is likely to be in the game. They did just release a standalone show for Baymax, so I think Baymax is likely to be in the game along with Hero. All right, let's talk about Zootopia. Jodie Hopps and Nick Wilde is likely to be in the game. I think that their characters would match well with the art style, and I think that it's a big property, so it's likely that they're going to be in the game. Now, maybe the Mayor Lionheart could be in the game, kind of to drive the story along, or Chief Bogo. No one else will likely be in the game. All right, so I think it's likely that Princess and the Frog will be in the game, simply because they are revamping the Disney ride, Splash Mountain, right now into Princess and the Frog, so they might use this for promotional material. So I can see Tatiana, Prince Naveen in the game, and Dr. Facilier can be in the game as well. I think these are all very likely candidates. All right, so I looked into Lady and the Tramp, and honestly, I don't think Lady and the Tramp is going to be in the game. They've already remade Lady and the Tramp a few years ago. I think it's unlikely they're going to make a new one, and I think because of that, they're not going to make any Lady and the Tramp characters. All right, so Pocahontas. I think it's likely that Pocahontas will be in the game. It hasn't been remade live action yet. I can easily see them going after that one. So I think Pocahontas is almost a shoo-in, along with Captain John and Governor Ratcliffe. Okay, so let's talk about Hercules. I can see Hercules being in the game. This is another one that hasn't been remade yet in live action. I can easily see them doing that. I think Hercules is a shoo-in. He'll match with the art style, along with Meg and Hades as a bad guy. I think it's also very likely that Phil will be in the game. I think it's going to be hard to put Hercules in this game without Phil. On the maybe category, I think Zeus might be in this game and no one else. All right, so I looked at Alice in Wonderland and I thought about it a bit, that maybe it kind of fits with the theme, but there doesn't seem to be anything being done with Alice in Wonderland. And I think Disney might be losing the property to Alice in Wonderland soon. So I just don't think that Alice in Wonderland is going to be in this game. All right, let's talk about Sleeping Beauty. I can see Aurora being in this game along with Maleficent and Prince Philip. I just know the Maleficent movies are popular. I think they're going to want to get all the Disney princesses in here. I think this is a shoo-in. All right, let's talk about Tarzan. I can see Tarzan being in this game. I think he meshes well with some environments like the Forest of Valor. So I think he could easily be in here with Tarzan, Jane, and then possibly Clayton. Maybe in this game is Jane's dad. All right, let's talk about Jungle Book. I can see Jungle Book being in this game. They can mesh well with the environment of Forest of Valor. I think that Mowgli is a shoo-in along with Baloo. I also think that Shere Khan is also likely to be in the game, only based on the fact that they did Scar. Nobody else from the Jungle Book will be in the game. All right, let's talk about Snow White. Now, I'm kind of worried that Snow White will not be in the game. Now, I'm not sure. Is she a Disney princess officially? I'm not 100% sure. They might do Snow White herself. I can see that maybe, but I don't see them doing the dwarves. There's too many of them. They're not going to pick one. They can't make quests with all 7 of them. I don't see all 7 of them walking around. I just don't see it. So I'm going to say Snow White's not going to be in this game. Also won't be in this game is Dumbo. I really don't think Dumbo's going to be in this game. They've already released a live action of Dumbo. Dumbo doesn't talk. There's not many other there's not even any other characters. I just don't see it happening. All right, so let's talk about Nightmare Before Christmas. This one is one that I'm just going to hope is going to be in the game. I love Nightmare Before Christmas, so I'm going to say Jack is going to be in this game. I think he would fit well with the art style. I think he would live very well in the Forgotten Lands. Look, it would make a lot of sense. I can see Sally being in the game as the love interest, and Oogie Boogie being in this game. All right, so I'm going to talk about Brave. I think Brave is a very big maybe. She's a Pixar property. I'm not sure how much they really want to go on with it, but I can also see Brave getting a sequel. So there's a good chance if she's in the game, Miranda can be in the game as along with her mother, the Queen, and the King Fargus. Now for Winnie the Pooh, I think Winnie the Pooh is not happening. I think that they're losing the rights to Winnie the Pooh. It's now old enough that other studios are going to be making videos and movies about it. So I think it's very unlikely, and there's too many characters, too many of them. They're not going to be able to do just Pooh or just Christopher Robin. I think people would be upset if Tigger wasn't in the game, or Eeyore, and I think that's just too many characters. I don't think they're going to do it. All right, those are all the characters I can think of that could be in the game, maybe be in the game, and will not be in the game. If this video helped you and you liked it, please drop me a big fat like, and don't subscribe to me. Thanks for watching. I hope my video helped you. If it did, please return the favor by leaving me a big fat like and a comment so I outrank those useless Let's Players with 20-minute videos. And if you want to take it one step further so I don't have to sell ugly useless t-shirts like all those other YouTubers, leave me a super thanks. It's a new feature. It's below where the arrow is pointing, right beside the share button.